We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
And we're back on Liberty Nation Radio, heard coast to coast on the Radio America Network. I remain your host, Mark Angelides, and we continue to be joined by Liberty Nation's national security correspondent, Dave Patterson. Now, Dave, I want to shift the theatres of conversation and war that we're talking about at the moment and move to the Ukraine. Now,
no, I thought you were going to say Detroit.
No, you never go full Detroit. Detroit's a lovely place. There's a lot of beautiful areas in it, marred by some not so good areas. So there's the situation in Ukraine at the moment. We have Zelensky saying that he would be open to foreign troops coming in. We also have President Trump pushing for some kind of peace deal that would kick in with a demarcation of territory at the date of the peace deal. But at the same time, you've got Joe Biden saying, all the money that's been earmarked by Congress for this, he's trying to get that out the door as quickly as possible in terms of munitions. And just as an aside, failing to build up U.S. munitions, but different topic. So we have really three situations going on. Which one's likely to prevail?
Oh, well, obviously, I think, the Donald Trump's going to prevail. I mean, you just wait out the Biden administration, and on, January 21st, when everybody's in their office and they can get moving, then you're going to see a lot of stuff walk back, and more thoughtful, I think, in terms of what exactly the United States is going to recommend. We don't control Ukraine. I mean, I think people get the impression that the United States, Ukraine is like the 51st state. I'm sorry, Canada.
Oh, right. The governor of the 51st state.
Right. But they're not.
Yeah.
They have their own aspirations and view of the future, and we may not even be part of that. But what we can do is to make the deal that says, as much as it is, odious to us, okay, Putin, keep what you have. But in order to do that, and so to protect Ukraine, we reserve the right to station troops, Western troops, doesn't matter who, in Ukraine, and we reserve the right to exercise and train in Ukraine, period. That's the deal.
So essentially what there is, Putin gets a fairly significant win, but at the same point, it pretty much future-proofs Ukraine from any further action by its aggressive neighbor. That's what that kind of deal looks like, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. I mean, we don't like to think about how past experiences have so totally colored the future that we live in, but when in April of 2014, President Obama did nothing when Russia annexed Crimea and moved into the Donbass in Luhansk Oblast, that put things in motion. That essentially sealed the fate.
Yeah, it's I think anybody who's taken a relatively passive eye to this and looking at, you can kind of see the increments of they're testing the water. Russia is testing the water. Okay, this works for us. And then they go and they do this and there's no response. And then obviously there was the hiatus during the first Trump administration. And then they test the waters again. And then there was Joe Biden's very, very tepid response about, well, it depends on what kind of incursion it is or how far into the country they go. And that was a green light for Putin to go, well, we'll go this far, because he hadn't specified anything different. But what do you think is the timeline for this Trump plan? And do you think it can be in place before Donald Trump takes office?
I don't think it can be in place. I mean, you have, you basically have history that works against you, and he's not president. Sure. So it is not incumbent upon him, and it's really inappropriate for him to do anything substantive before January 20th. However, I think you're going to see incremental moves in order to establish one some sort of mechanism by which the peace can be discussed, some sort of coming together of the parties, and then from there, very quickly, there'll be an end to this.
So no amnesty on Christmas Day out of the world wars.
I don't think so. I mean, those are times past, and I don't think Zelensky would have any appetite for that.
Let's hope everybody's cleaned their plates already and is full up and doesn't want anything else. Dave Patterson, thanks ever so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you, Mark. Always a pleasure to be with you.
We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.